Hey, shalom, shalom. All praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, Elder Bishop, the Great Millstone, who rule well. Peace and blessings to you fellow brothers pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. It's your brother Chanak, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. This is going to be a in-transit lesson. As I'm moving to my location, what I was going to do is sit down, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I have time. And basically, this video, I'm not sure what the title of the lesson is going to be. I'll work that out. But this is basically off of a video that I watched. It's off a video that I watched. It says, are we doomed? The harsh reality of drafting Generation Z for war. And this is, like a compilation of videos that's put together, of the Generation Z, these young Americans, these young military-aged Americans, men and women. And then there's some clips of actual military personnel within the different branches of the military doing TikToks and, dancing, basically, occupied in folly, while the rest of the world, they're building up for war. Mighty men. Joel, let me get that. Actually, I've been quoting that a lot. Okay, Joel, the 3rd chapter, and you can just basically see what these Americans, and we're gonna go into them scriptures, how these men, these military age individuals here in America, they not ready, man. They're cooked. This generation is cooked. They're not ready to go to battle with Iran. They're not ready to go to battle with Russia, with North Korea, with China. Okay, America likes to make fun of, all these different nations, but really the American soldier is bitch made. And these individuals, they are wars in their minds. The Most High got a warlike spirit on them, especially them Russians. But the Chinese, the Koreans, all them, they're ready for war, man. While you got Jake in the military, Esau, they doing TikTok videos. You got sodomites, transgenders, women. That's all of them in the military. All right, they're not ready for what's getting ready to come. Okay, especially when it pertains to, the looming draft that's going to take place in America. That's going to be a different, and we're coming into that time. It's going to be a real sight to see. This is Joel 3:3-9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. See? Wake up the mighty men. See, wake up the mighty men. A mighty man is a man of war. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. So the Lord, he's activating all the military individuals from these different countries, all right, to enlist or to be drafted and to have a warlike mindset, especially as it appertains to going against Babylon the Great. These nations know eventually they're going to have to lock arms, okay, with America, all right, and eventually they're going to have to shoot missiles. But before that, there's going to be a lot of ground war as well. That's the point. That's the point. Let me actually read one more. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So these nations that were once weak, they are now vaunting themselves as strong. Okay, they're not just taking whatever Edom says, Esau, Americans say to them, all right, and bow down. They now have military, okay, capabilities, ICBMs, nuclear warheads, okay, to back up, okay, to basically allow them to stand toe to toe with America. And the plowshares and the pruning hooks are tools of agriculture. So the Lord is saying, don't spend your money, don't invest your money in agriculture, building up, farms and planting of crops, okay, and all these men that were farmers, most men were farmers. No, don't do that. Put all your profits, all your money, okay, all your wealth into building up a strong military force, okay? Let me go to Jeremiah, and you can see how when this draft comes, actually before I go there, I have an article, because a lot of these TikToks and social media posts, they're in response to the U.S. bombing of Iran, and how there's going to be a retaliatory strike upon America. Okay, there's supposed to be some type of ceasefire between Israel and Iran, but you have the military. They're on high alert, and they've been given, steak and lobster, which I guess that's supposed to be, like the last meal, surf and turf, your last meal before you go to war. So I'm gonna give you steak and, all you can eat steak and lobster. Okay. Let me hit this article. So the people that are in the know, they know that, these heightened tensions, they're not going to slow down. They can subside for a moment, but in all, it's inevitable. Okay, it's inevitable that these nations are going to lock arms, because it's all prophetic. Okay, they don't understand this. We understand this. We know that we're in this time. All them games, all that folly. Okay, all the bullshit, the talking shit, all the scoffing and the scorning, that's getting ready to end. Okay, the Lord, He's going to draft. He's going to have a lot of you Americans draft, a lot of you YNs, a lot of you Edomites. Okay, you're going to be thrown in these wars. These women, they're going to be afraid. We might touch on to, not Revelation, Ezekiel 3. Isaiah 3 and Isaiah 4. How, Isaiah 4 and 1, how women are going to take hold. Many women are going to take hold of the Israelite man, because it's going to be a very sorrowful time. All right, and the only hope for the Israelite woman is to be conjoined or joined unto a man of the Lord through marriage. So let me bring out this article here, and there's a couple of articles on this. This is from newsnationnow.com. Will Israel-Iran conflict lead to a military... Will Israel-Iran conflict lead to a U.S. military draft? And eventually, yes. There will be conscription, okay, for this third world war. Many nations, many leaders of nations are speaking on how close we are globally to a third world war. Revelation 11 and 14, the third woe cometh quickly. The third destruction, woe meaning destruction. This is upon us. Okay? The United States bombed Iran's nuclear sites over the weekend, and social media lit up with talks of a military draft. Yeah. Because there's not enough enlisted military personnel to go and fight another war. or you already have U.S. bases all over the goddamn place. All right, and you need a military presence here in America because you're going to have a lot of uproars. That's why Trump, okay, for these anti-ICE protests, right? What did he do? He sent some of the Marines. He sent the National Guard. All right, you don't really hear too much about that no more. You hear the Israel-Iran thing. So that thing kind of got swept under the rugs, but that tension is still there. That spirit is still there. Okay, give me a second. All right, that spirit is still there. Just bear with me. It says, but it would take more than conflict to reinstate mandatory conscription in the U.S. Okay, all is needed is a black swan event, a false flag, a pretense to enact conscription, which is the draft. And all military-age men here in America are, you know, basically, you know, they're game. They have, if they get called, they can get called up. I'll just say that. But it's going to go through classes. There's going to be some exceptions, but not many. Okay, and you're gonna have a lot of men here in America, and some of you women too that like to be, you know, want to be equal to the man. All right, you're gonna be equally drafted as well, and it's gonna be a lot of grape. A lot of women are gonna get graped in that day. Okay, when all hell break loose, you're gonna see the wild side. Okay, of a wicked society. The United States has had an all-volunteer force for more than 50 years. It says, and that has not changed. It would take an act of Congress to change that base fact. Sarah Strider, Executive Director of Secure Family Initiative. Strider told News Nation that while mandatory military service exists on paper, yeah, it's already on paper. It's already on paper that if you get caught, you have to, it's mandatory that you serve. Okay, when you get that letter, your ass better show up. And if you don't show up, you're gonna be locked up. Okay, as a defector, or I forget whatever term it is. You trying to escape the draft. Okay, that's going to be the reality very soon. All right, and shit's going to get real. And when I was watching that video, basically, this new generation, they're not ready. They're not ready for all-out chaos. They're not ready to go to war and fight for, you know, America. All right, because it's coming out how America is a corrupt nation. Okay, and when it comes time to fight for your mother country, the people already are disconnected and disassociate themselves with American culture. You got a lot of jakes in the military, other nations. Esau, he's mad. It would take an act of Congress to change. Well, yeah, I read that. Strider told News Nation that while mandatory military service exists on paper, that document hasn't been touched in more than a half a century. Yeah, because there was no need for that document to be, you know, touched. Okay, there was no need for conscription. There was no need, all right, for the draft. Okay, but now that you have all these war fronts opening up, and you have a excuse to send out troops. You need troops. You need ground forces. You need people to protect, you know, America, and to go to war. That draft, that paper, is going to be activated. Okay, let me go to Jeremiah 51. Okay? And you're going to see the bitch come out of these men. Of course, the woman, we already know, the woman, she can act tough, when everything is going well, and of course, yeah. But when things get tough, I mean bad, according to the scriptures, all right, when Jacob trouble comes in, when you have false flags and the internet gets shut down, right? The internet gets shut down, all right, there's rolling blackouts, food is scarce, you have marauders going from house to house. All right, the scriptures say that you have people fighting against the government, sedition. Okay, you have a disease running rampant, and then you have a militarized police force that's taken. That they've been told to shoot, to use as much force necessary to gain, order. You already know how the spirit the woman is going to be in. So, but see, the scripture is going to tell us how the man, the American man, the Babylonian man, he's going to be in that same spirit. And these other nations, they're going to be in a different spirit. They're going to be in a mighty spirit, ready to tap in. Okay. Jeremiah 51 and 30. It says, the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. Okay, let's look at this word forborne before we move on. Okay, just bear with me. I'm driving. Do the best that I can. I don't want to do too much. Okay, bear with me. Look at this word forborne. Chalal. I'm sorry. Chadal. To stop, cease, desist, forego, cease to be, leave undone, forbear, come to an end. So basically, they stop fighting. They're gonna not want to fight. They're gonna cease from fighting. They're gonna be afraid. They've never been in these situations. Everything's been Starbucks and Popeye's chicken sandwiches and TikTok dance and who can riz this girl and who can go viral with different skits. It's never, going out Friday, Saturday. It's never been a serious time. The land where they dwelleth carelessly. Okay? The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight or stop or cease. Okay? They have remained in their holes. In their holds. Their might has failed. See? That big bad American spirit is being done away with when shit gets real. When you got people that are fanatic about saving their country. That love their mother country, that would die it's an honor for them to be a martyr in what they believe to be a great cause, a good cause, a cause that's going to keep their nation, their nation, prospering. And they're going to look at you, whether you look black, white, Korean, you in that military, you in that U.S. military fatigue, they're going to treat you like the enemy, and they're going to destroy you. So the mighty men of Babylon, right, it says, they have remained in their holds, their might has failed, they became as women, see? When chaos comes, they're going to be in the spirit of a woman. You see the movies, or you've been in situations where something happened, the woman's screaming and she's frantic and she's having a panic attack. She's not built for that. Okay? She's not built for war. She's actually the spoils of war. And that's going to become a reality in the very near future when things go back to their, original state. Okay? When this chaos, everybody's going to know their place. You're not gonna fumble the definition, or the definition of a man and a woman is going to be the true definition. And nature always wins. Okay, which is the order. I mean, what is the nigga gonna do, man? Bear with me, still out there. The nature always wins, which is the order of Yahweh Shemal Shai always wins. It's always going to go back to its original state. Even a man having more than one woman, that's going to go back to its original state. Okay? They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. Yeah, because what? They're gonna see at the end of the day the missiles come. All hope is going to be lost. All right? They're going to see the impending doom. All right? Let me see something. Give me a second. Bear with me. Bear with me. There's a couple of scriptures, right, that go into this. Isaiah 19:16. In that day shall Egypt be like unto women. See? Egypt, speaking about spiritual Egypt. Revelation 11:8. Spiritual Egypt. All right, they're going to be as a woman. And it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. Okay, and that's the judgment that the Most High has prepared for Babylon the Great, starting with the plagues that he's going to come to send on the earth. Meanwhile, simultaneously, while all these things are happening, you have the prophets telling you that these are the different events that are getting ready to take place down here on the earth. Okay, and then the Lord is going to withdraw that voice and then proceed to start to send those plagues, those birth pains, with much more intensity and frequency. Okay? Nahum 3:13, behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. Okay, you got actual men. You got, look this dude right here. I'm in Memphis. This dude right here, this nigga got to be at least 30 years old with an afro. Okay, and he got a pacifier in his mouth. He got a pacifier in his mouth. Okay, like it's a grown ass nigga, man. All right, individuals like that are not ready. He's a Jake. Outside, grown ass man, and he has a baby's pacifier in his mouth. Like it's like a hip thing to do. It just shows you that it shows you the current state of the people. They're gonna become as women. When shit gets tough, an individual like that is gonna fold like a dirty beach chair. Okay, fold like a deck of cards. Okay, crumble. Okay, become like a woman. When there's tough times that come upon a woman, she's not built to handle it like that. Okay, she's not built to handle those rough times with strength. She's going to be seeking for protection, and that's going to become relevant in the very near future. And there's fears of the draft, all right, being, that's already on the law, all right, being reacted, and it is going to be reenacted. Okay, that draft, but they're going to do it under pretext or pretense of some type of attack. They're going to use some type of attack. And the people thought that this Iran thing was like, oh shit, we going to war. Okay? Which, yeah, you are going to go to war. Hold on one second. You are going to go to war. Okay? Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thy enemy. Yeah, it's going to be, Babylon's going to be ready. It's going to be perfect timing. Something's going to happen to where the nations are going, all right, it's time. It's time to go. Well, the scriptures speak in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, how at that time the Lord is going to put an evil thought, all right, in Russia's mind, Gog. Okay, there's going to be an evil thought that's going to come to their mind. All right, and we know Gog is going to be with a company of nations as well. Okay, Russia, you're going to have Turkey, you're going to have Iran. Iran's nuclear program is still active. Okay, and the inevitable is bound to happen, which is all biblical prophecy. That's what we're saying. Okay, it says, the fire shall devour her bars. Now, give me a second. Jeremiah 30. I'm almost finished. Yep. Jeremiah 30 and 5. It says, for thus said the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Yeah, and this is what we are. This is what we are, speaking. Okay, we're speaking of trembling, of fear, of sorrow, of doom, impending doom, and death and destruction coming to those that are not part of the elect. Okay, bear with me. For those that are not part of the elect. Yet we are still warning you that, hey, this shit's gonna happen. Okay? Let me park this car. Just give me a second. Okay? Yeah, a voice of trembling. Okay? Of war. And not of peace. Yeah, that we are in the time of war. Read Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. There's a time and season for everything under heaven. Okay? There's a time of peace, right? And then there's a time of war. Alright? There's a time to build and there's a time to destroy. Alright? And we are in the time of war. Even though you're going to have world leaders, particularly Babylon the Great, okay? The beast, the EU, right? NATO, those nations, the Edomite nations, they're going to be saying, no, peace, peace, peace. When the whole time, there's nothing but war, war, war. Ask ye now and see whether a man does travail with child. So basically all the prophets were seeing the same vision. All right, they were seeing men. What's going to go into it? Because Jeremiah is saying, do men have children? Right? Why does it look like men have children or having children? Whether do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail? Yeah, because it's going to be a very terrible, fearful sight. All right, to see, basically the coming doom of America. Remember Ecclesiastes 12, when they look at those that look out of the window shall be darkened. Because all you're going to be hearing about is World War III, nuclear missiles coming to America. And then you're going to be experiencing chaos on the, in the homeland as well. Okay, you're gonna have military forces trying to get order back here in America. The Marines or the Army gonna be sent out. You're gonna have different task force set up. Okay, you're gonna have race wars. You're gonna have class wars, gender wars, wars against the government, clashes. Then you're gonna have a blockade of different goods. Okay, well, if they cut off the Strait of Hormuz, that's gonna cut off 1/5 of the world's oil. Okay, from circulating. That's gonna affect many nations. Their economies are gonna spiral down, and the people are like, why America? Why did you do that? And a lot of you're gonna have no choice, all right, because you're gonna be afraid. You don't have nowhere else to go. You're gonna get thrown. You're gonna get thrown right into, okay, a military vehicle sent to to get initiated. Go through your little 4 or 5 weeks of training and sent out there to be cannon fodder and die in a war. Ask ye now and see whether a man does travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So what does that mean? Within this time of Jacob's trouble, you're gonna have a lot of men that's gonna be, let's just be plain. Excuse me. A lot of men that's gonna be acting like bitches. Fearful little girls. So how much more the woman? Okay. See, we've been given a insight to the plans of the Heavenly Father and how He's going to send judgment down here on the earth. And He's going to do that. He's going to drive a lot of you YNs. Okay, Esau, he going to get you Jakes first. So you so-called black and Hispanic and Native Indian Jakes, he going to have you get drafted first. A lot of Edomites going to get drafted too. Because they want the world population to diminish by a whole bunch. All right, and within that, you're going to have, while all this is going on, they're going to be pushing the MOTB. Okay, let's go to Isaiah. I got 2 more verses. Let's the Spirit want me to go on to something else. Isaiah 3:25. We're building up into Isaiah 4:1. Okay, and we can see it. We can see it actually starting to manifest now. Isaiah 3:25. Thy men shall fall by the sword. Okay, and thy mighty men in the war. See, speaking about these Jakes. Even these Edomites here in America, they're going to be sent off to the war and they're going to die. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. Who being desolate? The woman. Okay, the Lord is about to back everybody into a corner. Either you submit to His will or you be destroyed. Isaiah 4:1. And this is why this Isaiah 4:1 is going to happen. Right here in the blue letter says a remnant prepared. Yeah, there is a remnant of women, all right, that the Most High has prepared for each individual prophet and each individual man of the elect. You have the elect ladies, so you have elect women that the Most High prepared, and they ain't gonna have a problem with being with one man. Okay, because that one man is gonna be their ticket. And all that feminist bullshit, that's going to get thrown right out of the window when the reality sets in. Okay? And in that day Isaiah 4:1. And in that day, speaking about that same day that Jeremiah saw, that Habakkuk saw, that Nahum saw, that all the prophets saw. It says, and in that day 7 women, which 7 just means completion. It could be more than 7. It could be 6. It could be 4. Shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Yeah, because there's going to be a reproach in that day, a woman not having a hedge, a protection from a man of the Heavenly Father, from the man of the Lord. Because there's going to be a difference. We were just reading how Jeremiah was like, ask now and see, does a man travail with child? Why do I see every man's hand on their loins? Okay, like they're about to give birth. You're not gonna see that amongst the elect. Okay, what did the Lord tell? What was it? Job, gird up thy loins like a man. not be a pussy. All right, so that's why this new generation, all right, is cooked. All right, and they're gonna be afraid. All that shit talking they were talking against the Israelites, against the Most High, the Lord's gonna finally confront them. All right, he's gonna confront. He's gonna have Esau come grab their ass up, put them in a barrack. All right, and go through basic training. Give them a machine gun. You know, and an MRE, are meals ready to eat. That bullshit, and get sent out there to West Asia. Okay, and die out there. All right, and then you 2/3 that are here in America that survive, you're gonna be burned up with fire. All right, so I'm gonna close it there until next time. Shalom to the elect.